don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Yeah, that's right. Hillary Clinton said it best. It's time to Pokemon go to the polls. The voting bracket has been unveiled, unleashed, untethered from the mystery of where is it? Where's this bracket? When are we going to know when we can vote on the name for this team? It's out. Ryan Smith just tweeted it out probably about an hour and a half ago. I was in the middle of a company kickball game when Ryan tweeted that out. And yes, we did lose on a horrible call right at the end. I'm not going to get too much into that because there's a lot to talk about here. Hey, thanks for joining me here on SLC Puck. I'm your host, Austin Facer. Let me just get into some quick housekeeping items for you guys. Just want to, again, say big thanks to everybody who's tuning in, making this what it is. I'm having a ton of fun. Again, the numbers are growing like crazy. I have a feeling we're being watched by some interesting people at this point, and whoever they are, I want to say thank you for joining us. I hope you like the show. I'm just having fun doing this, and just doing what I like, and that's what makes this fun. And again, seeing the numbers grow is pretty crazy to me. Again, I talked last week about t-shirts. I got the design. I know what I want the shirt to look like. It's just a matter of like, how do I get it to you guys, and how do I get it so you guys can pay for it and help me grow the show? Those are the questions I'm trying to have. And again, I want them to be like reasonably priced, but also help me make the show better. So trying to find the balance there is going to be tricky. So stay tuned for that. But again, if you like the show, what you can do more than anything to help out is just to like and subscribe. So that's not too hard, right? I'm not asking too much out of you. But again, hey, let's Pokemon go to the polls, why don't we? Oh, but first, I do want to say something that I think is funny. Okay, we're being given no shortage of content to talk about here on SLC Puck. It's been a crazy week. It feels like every week there's like 3 or 4 new stories to talk about with this team, and it's pretty wild and hilarious, and I think it's overwhelming to me, and I think it's overwhelming to a lot of people, because there's like 4 things happened, including the NHL Draft lottery, and that was probably the 4th most important thing that happened this week, which is kind of funny. So I'll just to recap that really quick. The Utah NHL team, unnamed at this point for now, is going to pick 6th overall in this year's draft. They're going to pick after the San Jose Sharks, who won the 1st overall pick, and they're going to have the rights to draft Macklin Celebrini, who is the Boston University phenom right now. He is the projected number 1 overall pick. Kind of a cool story there. He played for the Junior Sharks program when he was coming up, I think as a 14-year-old in bantams, or maybe that's midgets. So that's kind of a cool little connection there. After the Sharks select him, they'll go Chicago, Anaheim, Columbus, Montreal, and then Utah. And what the experts are saying, and what I'm saying as someone who is slowly but surely trying to become an expert on this team, is that they need to draft a defenseman to sort of support their young core of forwards. So we'll see who that guy ends up being. But what's great is we have some time to talk about that, because we have other things to talk about. There's like so many other crazy important things going on. Which one should I talk about first? There's 2 stories that I really want to get to today on this episode. Let's get to the name. I think we should get to the names. That's something that has been all the hubbub, I guess you could say, for people who are following the development of this team here in Utah. Last we spoke about this, there were 8 or 9 registered trademarks for possible names. In the poll that Ryan Smith just tweeted out earlier tonight, today is May 8th, we now have a much longer list. We have a list of 20 names to choose from. And there's a couple names on there that I think that I like. I think that are good additions to the list of possibilities. A few that I don't like. And I'm starting to develop like maybe a conspiracy theory that some of these bad names are just sort of fillers to sort of prop up the good names maybe. That's my assumption, because the difference between a few of these is so vast that it's like, who would possibly pick a few of these? So I think what I want to do is go through this list here. And the way the poll is going to work, just to be clear, so it's the first round of voting, starts tonight. It's going to be open until May 22nd. Fans are encouraged to vote for up for 4 of their preferred names from this initial list of 20 options. The next round will be announced later this summer. Again, as a reminder, the Utah NHL team will simply go by the name Utah. No logo, no mascot, no official colors. I'm guessing they're just wear black and white. And in place of any logo, the NHL team will just wear Utah on their uniforms. And then according to, I believe this was in the poll here, and again, unsurprisingly, powered by Qualtrics, the company founded by Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith's hitting some home runs right now, and I think this getting people excited about this is a way to do it. But this comment was here in the polls. Once the team name has been selected, Smith Entertainment Group will work diligently to craft the team identity, logo, mascot, colors, and other branding elements, which will debut for the 2025-2026 NHL season. And as I said last episode, they're going to be working with the creative consultancy Doubleday and Cartwright, and they are one of the premier sports creative agencies in the world. They worked with the Pistons, Nets, Inter Miami, who had a great rebrand, or I guess branding, and you know, we see Inter Miami jerseys all over the place with Messi on the back. They've also worked with ESPN, Nike, and the team that I mentioned has the best branding in all of sports, the Milwaukee Bucks. So a lot to be excited about. Let's go through the list here. The list of 20 names. It's like David Letterman's top 10, but it's 20, and it's not in any order. So this is alphabetical order here. I'll tell you what I'll go through the names, and you'll get my blank reaction on each of them. How's that? Does that sound? I have a live audience here that I'm looking to for feedback, so it's helping a lot. So again, in alphabetical order, here are the 20 names that us Utahns are going to be able to choose from. Again, it's not clear if this is like geo-fenced in any way. Again, we'll get the game going there. But we'll see. I think more details on that will emerge as we get going. So the finalists are Utah Black Diamonds, which I think is actually fine. It's better than a lot of the names on the list. But I think it's a name we should save for the baseball team, should we get a Major League Baseball team, because that makes more sense. You know, Black Diamonds, ski runs, you know, diamonds, the shape of the baseball. Okay, you got it. All right. Continuing on, Utah Blast, hate that. Utah Blizzard, not a fan of that one either. Utah Canyons, no thanks. Here's one that I really like. This is a new addition to the list. This was not in the original 8 or 9. Utah Caribou, which I got to tell you, I really like a lot. It meets a lot of the criteria that I talked about, and I don't like it just because it's very similar to Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, the one you liked. But I think it's like there's a certain toughness to it. It's an animal that reflects the area. I'm not totally like a zoologist, but I'm assuming there are caribou around here. I think it's an interesting name. It's unique. I kind of like the fact that it doesn't end in S. I don't like not all the names that don't end with S are as good as that one. And I think people in the Canadian markets will really like that one too. I think that they'll be really endeared to what we're trying to accomplish here in Utah if we have a name that feels so Canadian. So Caribou is one that I really like. Utah Freeze, hate that. Frost sucks. Utah Fury, one of the worst. Utah Glaciers, no, I'm not into that one either. Utah HC, that's to me just a placeholder. I don't think that has any chance. Another interesting one, Utah Hive. And that, along with Utah Swarm, are the two bees, references to the bee world. I wish I knew the scientific name for bee. Apiarist. So all you apiarists out there, is that like, I think I pulled that from an Office episode where Dwight talks about being an apiarist. I might not be right about that, but that was in the vault a little bit. So for people who are into bees, you know, we're in the beehive state. Hive and Swarm are the two that kind of reflect the beehive state branding. And I think that's interesting, but I wonder if the Miller Group will have any issues with names that infringe on the Salt Lake Bees baseball team name. So I'm I'm not sure if those are very likely. Continuing on the list, Utah Ice, hate that, horrible name. Utah Mammoth, one of the better ones. That's one I voted for, along with Caribou. Here are the other two I voted for. Utah Mountaineers, I liked quite a bit. That one was also not in the original 8 or 9. So Caribou and Mountaineers have both moved up the list for me. Utah Outlaws, which remains my favorite, was also on this list. So again, the 4 I voted for, and I would love to hear who you guys voted for as well. So sound off in the comments if you'd like. Again, the 4 I chose were Caribou, Mammoth, Mountaineers, and Outlaw. Those most closely match the criteria that I outlined in a previous episode. But continuing on, continuing on, Utah Powder. Nope, not going to do it. Utah Squall. And just so you know, squall is like another name for like a blizzard, like a snow squall. It's like a very like, yeah, there's only been one. Thank you to my studio audience who's helping me out. There's only been one snow squall in Utah this year. So I guess it's a rare occurrence, but it's up there with blizzard. They're basically the same thing. I don't like those. We're not going to have a team named after weather. We're just not going to do it. I don't want to support that. Continuing on, Venom, also a horrible name that I don't like. Interestingly, someone in the comments of previous episodes said Rattlers, which I didn't think was that bad, but I don't think that one's possible because the Arizona Rattlers are an arena football team that actually do quite well, and I don't think it would be a good look to take another thing from Arizona, so we'll rule that one out. But Venom was on the list, and I don't like that either. And Utah Yeti was also on, just singular. Interestingly, I think there's been some discussion on whether it should be Yeti or Yetis, and in this poll, it's just Yeti. So that one was one that I sort of liked, but that one's been bumped off the list for me. So one more time, Caribou, Mammoth, Mountaineers, Outlaws. I wonder if this first round is just going to be to set the bracket in terms of seeding. That's my guess. Here's how I think it's going to play out. So there's 20 names. I'm guessing the bottom 4 are just going to be dropped off. I hope it's a few of the horrible names. I hope it's like Fury's gone. I hope that Blast is gone. Frost, Freeze. I hope names like those are all gone. And then from there, the 16 that remain will comprise the bracket, which will be voted upon during the summer and perhaps into the season. And then from there, the winner will be kicked over to Doubleday and Cartwright. My guess is I wonder if they're already starting to work on a few ideas, because I wouldn't think they're just sitting around waiting for us Utah folks to come up with something. I think they're already kicking around some ideas. So we'll see how that works. But again, really exciting. People have been clamoring like crazy. I've been getting this comment a lot on YouTube. People asking, when are the brackets opening? When are we going to be able to vote on the name? And it's like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. But the answer is now. We can do it now. We can Pokemon go to the polls right now. So do as Hillary Clinton says and do that. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I feel really encouraged by a couple of the names that were added. Again, Caribou moved up big time for me. So we'll see how that shakes out. So that's story 1 that I wanted to talk about. Story 2 was something that I briefly spoke on, or not that briefly. That was kind of the whole episode last time, was about the sports entertainment district that Smith Entertainment Group is proposing to do in downtown Salt Lake City. And for me, I think a lot of the questions that I had about that, I talked about what's going to happen to Japantown, what's going to happen to Abravanel Hall, what's going to happen to the Salt Palace. I got to give Ryan some credit. I really do. I got to give him and Smith Entertainment some big props, because all of my questions were answered on Tuesday in a Salt Lake City City Council meeting, where Ryan's essential number 2 guy, Mike Mon, he's a longtime business partner of Ryan Smith, spoke to the city council, and he went over the proposed district more in detail. He also said that the Smith Entertainment Group is promising to pledge $3 billion towards this project, which is a good chunk of money. And he also said that the plan is to leave beloved destinations like Abravanel Hall and the Utah Museum of Contemporary Art, UMOCA, I think is what we call it. Is that what we call it here? Something like that. On site, but to create a more walkable downtown with better connection points. So the idea is that those places are going to be a part of what's happening in the sports entertainment district. And to me, it sounds like we can really consider it more of like a sports entertainment, cultural arts convention center that's going to be happening between where the Delta Center is now and City Creek Center Mall. And apologies if you're not a Utah person listening to the show. It's not going to be as interesting to you, but to me, it's really exciting to think about the possibilities that could happen when you open up this walkway between the Delta Center and the mall. Because right now it's like you can't walk through that. You have to walk on, what's that? Is that North Temple or? South Temple. Excuse me. Yeah, you have to walk, on the street on South Temple. There's no way to get to City Creek Center like in a clean, accessible manner. But I think the idea is to make that happen. And when that happens, and you still have the option of, going to a Bravenel Hall, however that turns out to be in the future, it sounds like that's something they could possibly totally renovate and redo. The Museum of Contemporary Art will also be on site here, apparently. This is going to be like a really crazy thing. And to me, this is why I've been telling you people like this ad nauseum, and I hope you get it now, that this hockey story is way bigger than just a story about an NHL team. This is a story about the transformation of Salt Lake City, and it's going to resonate throughout the entire state of Utah. And it's really, really exciting to consider the possibilities. And when you hear a guy like Mike Mon, I listened to the city council meeting on Tuesday, and when you hear a guy like Mike Mon talk about it with Mayor Mendenhall and Jenny Wilson, who is the Salt Lake County mayor, he has their support. They see the vision. They think that this is something that's needed. I would agree, as someone who spends a lot of time in downtown Salt Lake City. It gets my heart going. It's crazy. I think there's a chance here to really make something very, very special in Salt Lake City. And to me, I mean, again, a lot of the questions that I had were answered. I mean, the fact that the county released a joint statement with Smith Entertainment Group and the Utah Symphony, which, is the host or whatever in the Bravenel Hall, to me says that they see the vision. They think that this is a great idea. It says here, there's a clear commitment to providing a world-class concert hall that continues to build upon the Utah Symphony's legacy. Wow. Okay. This is more than a sports entertainment district. This is going to be really revolutionary for Salt Lake. What seems more certain, this article in the Salt Lake Tribune that I'm reading right now, and there's Mike Mon, handsome guy right there. What seems more certain is that the Salt Palace will be overhauled. They think that the exhibition halls were overbuilt, which is true. I've been in the Salt Palace. I was there for the NBA crossover event. I was like, there's a lot of space that's not being used. If you look at the whole building, and they think that redoing it and creating more of an downtown entertainment cultural district will really supercharge the convention industry downtown. So they're invested in that as well. And here's another detail that I think has been missed that I found in this article. Smith Entertainment Group is in deep conversations with the Olympics to put a new medals plaza in the middle of the proposed district. Wow, won't that be something? And again, as I've predicted, I think we're going to see an Olympics announcement for the 2030, more likely the 2034 games at some point this summer. And we're going to have a great place to put on a hell of a show on the world stage if this thing happens. My other big question that I talked about in the show last episode was also answered when I said I was curious what was going to happen to Japantown. There's the Japanese Church of Christ, the Buddhist temple, the cultural center there. And hey, sure enough, we know what the idea is there. The idea is really to do nothing, to leave it. And it says here, the district would also put renewed focus on Japantown, the historic Asian American community that was largely displaced by the expansion of the Salt Palace in the 1960s. Wilson responded to community speculation and fears about the future of the area. There hasn't ever been an interest in tearing down churches. Good move. I want to be clear about that. We honor the Japanese Church of Christ, the Buddhist temple, the cultural center. The proposed investment would be a boon to the area. Frankly, there's only upside right now compared to where we are for the Japanese community, and I look forward to engaging in the months to come as we figure this out together. So Japantown's not going anywhere. It's going to be a part of this in some way. And it's so exciting to have the answers to these questions. It's really exciting to see things materialize, like the list of names here. It'll be even more exciting when a few of the crummy names get dropped off and the conversation really heats up. And, ooh, man, Twitter is going to be quite the place. People are going to be at ends with each other, and they should be. There should be heated discussion. There should be contention. There should be arguments around the kitchen table. I want caribou. No, I want mammoth. I want outlaws. No, you can go to hell. I want mountaineers. That's what I want to happen here, but it should be all be done in good fun, and I'm sure it will be, and it gets me excited. And here's a funny thought to end on. Okay, the Utah Jazz right now, their big story, I guess, is that they'll also be in the NBA draft lottery. We don't know where they'll be yet. That's their big story. The Utah NHL team just had that moment, and it was like, again, the third or fourth most interesting thing that happened this week. There are so many crazy stories revolving around this team and what's happening in Salt Lake. And again, I know you're like, hey, Austin, enough talking about like the business and the formation of this team. I want to get down to hockey. I want to know what that is. I want to know what icing is. I want to know what offsides is. And I will tell you those things, and we'll go over the roster. And I have some more exciting announcement on the way. Some stuff I can't tell you now, but stuff that's going to be really cool. But for now, my advice to you is to do as Hillary Clinton recommended.
Pokemon go to the polls.
You need a Pokemon go to the polls right now and pick your 4 favorite names. So that's the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in to SLC Puck. Please like, comment, subscribe. Loving the community that we're building here. You can follow me on Twitter at SLC Puck. Again, I'm on the other social media platforms. I'm trying to respond to as many messages as I can. I'm getting messages from all over the place, from people I haven't heard from in years, people I played hockey with a long time ago. A lot of them are messaging me like, hey, this is what you're doing is cool. And I'm like, I agree, and it's good to hear from you. So yeah, just drop me a note on any of these platforms. I'm trying to reply to as many comments here on YouTube as I can. But I'm enjoying the heck out of this, guys. And again, I really appreciate you making time for me. And this has been SLC Puck, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot, guys.